case, Ram, could you just share with us a case study, or some example on, let's say, how you would have driven, digital adoption in an organization as an L&D person? Also, what are the key drivers for L&D teams and for organizations to be successful, to ensure that they are digitally savvy? I mean, most of us are not digitally native employees, but the young generation is. So, how do we ensure that organizations and employees, leaders become digitally savvy as well?
Yeah. So, how do we reimagine our ways of working? So, like you said, tech is no longer a function. Tech is a way of life. So you have a sales tech, you have a HR tech, you have marketing tech, and so on and so forth. Tech sort of works as a multiplier in every function of sorts. And when you look at skills and skill building and transformation, we keep talking about shelf life of skills becoming shorter, right? So if someone had to get skilled if someone was able to skill themselves and thrive for the next 5 years in the past, now that skill can serve you for about 6 months or maximum 1 year. So even at an individual level and at an org level, the skill requirement is changing very rapidly. And if you have to adapt and thrive, and you need to be ahead of the game, then you need that skill building to happen at a very fast pace. And that's something that can happen only through tech. So and all of us are into micro learning of some form, be it Instagram or TikTok, what it was earlier, right? So the principles of social media, the way they engage you, the same thing is something that L&D teams sort of need to shape themselves up to. So the new roles that I see in L&D in terms of storytelling, gamification design, these are the new skills that L&D folks needs to pick up. Like how we used to say, how I've seen many people who are glued to the Netflix series or reels for hours. They say that it's very difficult for you to break out of that loop. The way they design it, an episode or a reel sort of ends with curiosity, making you want more. And how do you design learning that way so that engagement is not a question, and people make time when they feel it's important, they feel it's essential, right? So how do you weave this in? When you weave this in is when that skills and making skill building an agenda for the individual, right? So it's like all of us are on an upward slide. You can you have to constantly be scaling up. You cannot afford to stay still, and and the responsibility is with you. Yes, the organization will provide you with platforms and content and create opportunities for you and give opportunities for you to implement what you have learned, all of that. But learning is something that should be with you. And if you are someone who is pro, you will end up being in the talent domain of sorts. And if you are someone who is constantly playing catch up and you are in the comfort zone, then you are more likely to end up as a laggard of sorts. So as a L&D professional and as an ecosystem, it's about how do you create this environment where people are forced to take up. It's more of a pull factor and not a push factor. Push-based L&D is gone. It's about creating a pull-based L&D where the employee knows or the employee is learning for themselves and which will eventually benefit the organization.